Hello and welcome back to our blog. I am Jim Cuervo, your senior trainer and support here at Digital Drafting Systems. In today's blog, we will be looking at creating soffits, fascias, gutters, and drainage spouts for our gutters, together with how to create gutter ends. We will be using roof tools to create our soffits and fascias and gutters, and also to create our gutter ends. We will then add down pipes by using MEP pipes. And to do this, we are going to need to load a pipe size and an elbow size. Sounds like a fun idea? Let's get going then. In this scene, we have a very simple roof design here to which we will be adding our soffits, fascias, and gutters. After which, we will then go ahead and add our downspouts. What we have done is we've gone ahead and created a new fascia profile by going to Profiles, Fascia Flats, duplicating the 1 by 12 and converting that with a new name of a 1 by 13, to which we went ahead and changed the values here. Okay, said that, and we said apply and okay. And then after that, we went ahead and grabbed that brand new profile, created a fascia 1 by 12 duplicate, named it 1 by 13 at Soffit, and we went ahead and added the profile 1 by 13 as the profile that's going to be used in this particular part. Let's go ahead and add a material. Let's go ahead and say Fash sounds good. We'll go ahead and say OK to that. Apply and OK. Once that's done, we're going to just go ahead and select a few of these. We're not going to do the whole thing. Okay, so we go to the roofs, fascia, and we select the upper level edge of the fascia here, of the edge of roof. In this one also, here, so we can basically see what it's going to look like more or less in this way. And so that right now we've added our fascia, and as you can tell, we have a little bit of a lip here to receive our soffits. Now that we've got our fascias created, let's go ahead and create our soffits by moving over to level 2. Okay, and we're going to go ahead into level 2 and select architecture, roofs, soffit. We'll go ahead and select pick walls, and we'll hover over this one on the outside edge, tab, and select. Okay, once that's done, we'll go ahead and say modify and select this piece and delete it. And let's go ahead and select now the roof edges, select the roof and click on it. Now we've got our outer edge. The other one that we're going to now select to trim or to remove is going to be this one right here. Okay, so we go to modify, select our roof edge right here and pull it back. Okay, and then we'll select this one, endpoint, sorry, not edge, and pull it back because we're going to actually now clean it up in here. And we've cleaned it up nicely. Now we've got the soffit set. Let's go ahead and say done with the creation of the boundary of the soffit. Let's switch over to 3D so we can see where that soffit is. And as we can tell, it's a little bit on the thick side. Okay, so let's go to the edit type here. Let's go to the structure, and it's not going to be that. Let's go ahead and make it 1.5 inches. Okay, and it's going to be that clad white. Let's go ahead and make that sash here. SASS, there it is. We'll say sash, and we'll say OK, and OK to that all the way out. Okay, and we'll go ahead and align surface to surface. So we'll go align to this edge here. And let's see if we can actually select that other edge there. It's actually showing the outer edge. That's not what we want. Okay, let's go ahead and arc rotate so we can get a better idea. There we go. And so it is not this edge, but that edge, we're going to add that one. So now we have an alignment happening here with our fascia. But as we can tell, we have a couple of things to do still. And one of them is to go ahead and create the fascia here and go ahead and create the closing for this section in here. Now that we've created the flat soffit, let's go ahead and create the angled soffit here. So that will go back to the level 2 again. We'll come back to the architecture, building, roofs, soffit once again. We'll define a rectangle to be about like that, just like this one. Okay, and we will go ahead and say modify. Select one of the edges here, and as you can see, we have some options that are little known right now in the Revit soffit, which is the most important one is this one right here, define slope. So we're going ahead and say defines the slope. It's actually giving us a 1 to 12, which is not what we want. We know that this particular roof happens to be a 4 to 12, so we'll say change that to 4 and say apply. Okay, once that's done, we'll say check mark here. We might have to come back and check this again, but for that, we'll go ahead now into 3D to make sure that we've got everything the way we want it. Let's go ahead and make the surface to surface alignment. So this is in the correct place, because we can see it's actually a bit low. So we'll come over here to modify, align to this surface here, this point there. And just as like I told you, this seems to slip by. So it's a good idea to actually go ahead and say modify, select the actual piece that we were looking at, go to edit boundary, switch yourself back to level 2, so you can then grab this point here and move it to where it's supposed to be. Okay, once that's done, we can hit the check mark. Okay, get back to 3D to check everything that is done properly. And as we can see, it's perfect. Now that we've got that side done, let's go ahead and mirror it over to the other side. So what we'll do is we'll switch back to level 2 once again. With that selected, we'll go ahead and say define mirror by picking the axis. The axis is going to be this one. It's already mirrored. Let's go back to 3D and it is in place just the way we wanted it. Still, we have some things to fix right now, which is this opening right here. Moving on to close this gap, what we'll do is we'll use a slightly smaller fascia to actually close this off. So what we'll do is we'll come over here to architecture, roofs, fascia. Let's go ahead and select the 1 by 12, edit type, duplicate it. We'll call this one a 1 by 8. Okay, let's switch the profile to the 1 by 8 and apply and OK. With that done, what we'll do now is once again, we'll go back to roof, fascia, making sure that we have the one that we want selected. And in this case, we're going to select the upper edge here. Okay, that looks to be a little bit on the short side. So let's go ahead and use the 8 by the 1 by 10. So let's go ahead and select it again. Edit type. I like to rename things so everything's straight. So let's go ahead and type this one 10. Say OK to that. Okay, switch the profile type to the 1 by 10. Apply and OK. And that seems to be a little bit better. Okay. Might even be a better idea to go to the 1 by 11 or even the 1 by 12. So let's go ahead and switch that to the 1 by 12 and see what we got. That's a little bit on the short side. Okay, and we said that the 1 by 10 is a little bit on the short side also. So let's go ahead and edit here. There's an 11-inch one here, and if not, we'll go ahead and, just so we know how we do it, we'll go ahead here in the soffits. We'll select the 1 by 10. We'll duplicate that, rename that one to a 1 by 11. Okay, double click on it so we can come back over here and let's go ahead and switch this to 11. Apply and OK. And and let's go ahead and then use it on this fascia here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and select the fascia. Edit type again. Let's go ahead and switch it to the brand new fascia that we just created. We'll say apply OK, and that looks rather pretty good. We can actually do something kind of sneaky, which is basically align this surface to the bottom surface of that particular fascia. So this goes up into the actual roof area. So let's go ahead and do that by aligning to this surface and that little surface right there. That looks great. Okay, let's make sure that we've got everything aligned in the proper ends. Okay, and we're talking about this little piece right here. Let's go ahead and move this edge here to right there. Okay, now that that's done, let's go ahead back in 3D into 3D. In this particular one, we need to actually go ahead and change the material. So let's go to edit type by selecting it first. Clad white is not what we're doing. We're actually using the sash. It's not on our list here, so we just type in SASSH and we select it, say OK to that and apply. So now we have the equivalent materials happening all around. Okay, once that's all done, let's go ahead and join, okay, or rather add our new fascia to cover this as a space right here. And we'll do that by, once again, going back to architecture, roofs, fascia, and this time I'm going to actually select this upper line right here. Okay, and I'm going to now flip it to see where it goes. It goes rather well, but I still want to actually bring it down a little bit to an alignment because we actually want this surface here to go to that surface. So we'll go over to modify, align to this surface, that little piece, and that's beautiful. Okay, that looks good. Let's go ahead and join these puppies. So we have a nice soft ending here by going to join, and we'll say we'll join this one and that one. That looks nice. And then we'll say we'll join this one and this one. Okay, and then we'll join this one and this one right here. Okay, these two. Beautiful. Okay,
For
so
the
length of presentation, we are not going to do it, but please don't forget that you need to repeat the same process that you did here on this side. Let's go ahead and now let's add our gutters, which is a relatively simple process. Go back to architecture, go back to the roofs in the building panel. Let's go to gutter and define the gutter to be here. And let's go ahead and define it to be here. Okay. Let's put one gutter on this side, but I want to actually place it on the wrong side, which is going to be this inner edge. Okay. And as you can see, if we actually come over here to wireframe, you'll notice that it's placed on the wrong side. If this happens, the solution is either you redraw it or select it here this way and come back to the top view or one of the, actually can't do it that way. You have to remove this one here. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is this. If I'm actually going to in here and I'm creating a new uh, gutter here and it's placed on the wrong end, and as I said, I placed it on the inside end. You'll see these two arrows. If I actually select those two arrows here, which is the inside outside flipping or the flipping of the actual geometry, it actually flips it. The only thing that you need to be aware of is this, that this item is aligned on the wrong side. You see that? So you have to be aware that you're going to have to actually go ahead and say modify, select the item that you want, and you're going to have to kind of move it to where it's supposed to be, which is right about there, okay? Just remember to actually do that if you have to actually go ahead and flip it over to the proper side, okay, guys? Alrighty, let's go ahead back into hidden mode, and let's go ahead and create the end cap here, okay? So in order to do that, let's go ahead into the left elevation, okay? And let's zoom into here and let's go ahead and create our cap here by going into components, model in place. We'll select the roofs here because it belongs part of the roofs. We'll say okay to that. We'll call this one gutter end cap. Okay, we'll say okay to that. We'll go ahead and we'll set the point or the plane that we're going to use, which is going to be this one right here. And let's go ahead and go to a extrusion, pick lines. I'm going to pick the outside lines here, just that one there, this one and this one. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean this line up with this one by go to modify. I go to my cleanup here and saying check because I'm done. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and say finish the model. And when I look at it on the side view here, we can tell that this little puppy is a little bit on the thick side. So we'll kind of move it this way and move this one in. Okay, like that. Let's make sure that we've got it all capped properly. Okay, and let's go ahead and make this a lot shorter. Let's go ahead and make it, let's go by eye. It should be about the same thickness as the metal that's there. Okay. Now, basically, once you do this, you can then have the option to actually go ahead and join them. Let's go ahead and move this piece right here over to, so it kind of looks aligned there. Okay, that looks nice. Yes, I could use alignment tool. Let's go ahead and select this item in the gutter 5x5. Let's go ahead and call that one paint or white paint for the material. White, clad white. Say okay to that and okay. And let's go ahead and select this piece and add the same material. Okay, this we have to go to the edit surface here. Select that and we'll add the material here, which is that one, and say okay. Finish that. Okay, once that's done, let's go ahead and join these two as you would in all the other ones in order for you to get your proper settings as we see right now. Very well, time for us to go ahead and start putting together our pipe sizes and stuff. So the one thing that we need to load before we do that is the elbow because by default it's not loaded. So we'll go into Insert, Load Family. In the English Pipe Fittings Generic, we look for elbow generic and we say open and it's now loaded. Once that is loaded, we will switch over to our west elevation. Okay, and we'll go ahead into our pipes or systems rather. Select pipe. Okay, and we'll go ahead and edit type here. Duplicate the one that is there and call this one down gutter. We'll say okay to that. We'll come in here and it's set to a minimum of 1/2 inch, maximum of 24, which is fine. And in here in the elbows, when we open this up, we'll find the one that we just loaded. Select that. And in the minimum maximum size, we select 1/2 inch. So it equals whatever the settings are for the straight segments here. We'll go ahead and say okay to this and say okay to that. Once that's done, the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and turn this into a high or fine detail in order for us to see it other than line. Okay, and now we check to make sure that it's a diameter of 2 inches, which is actually basically a little bit smaller than this is 3 inches here. We'll go ahead and start our gutter spout here. We'll bring it to about there. Okay, we'll angle it out sort of like about there, and then we'll bring it over to about there, and then we'll just angle it away from the wall. Okay, we go to modify. We can actually select one of these sections, and if this is a little bit too far away, we can actually go ahead and nudge it a little bit closer if that's what you wish. Second thing we want to do is we want to check to see if the alignment of this is proper. So let's go ahead into level 2 here, and we notice that it's not. So what we'll do is we'll go ahead and select these items. Okay, make sure that we're in high definition because we want to make sure that we select all of the things that we want. And let's go ahead and just move this to from about here to nice and straight to let's say right there. Okay, once that's done, we can come back over here to 3D, switch it to high definition because that's the only way to see it properly. And there we have our gutter, downspout, gutter, fascia, soffits all placed. Remember that if you want this item over here to be on this side, you need to go ahead and repeat it. The same thing is going to happen with the end caps, okay? And with that, we have finished with this particular little blog of fascias, gutters, soffits, and gutter downspouts. This has been James Cuervo with Digital Drafting Systems, wishing you a very safe day, a healthy one. Till the next one, thank you for watching.